There is so much to say about the cowboy, his life and his songs, and the long-lasting impact he has had on American life and culture, that it's almost impossible to say too much. To this very day, the romance of the American cowboy lives on in rodeos, in the Western movie, in hundreds of books, and in the cowboy folk song, many of which, as has been noted for years, reflect the rhythm of the cowboy's horse. Paint, or Old Paint, was a favorite name for a horse in the Old West, which provides the title for one of the greatest of all cowboy songs, I Ride an Old Paint. I ride an old paint, I lead an old dam. I'm a-gone to Montana to throw the hula hand. You feed them in the coulees and water in the draw. Their tails are all matted and backs are all raw. Ride around, little dogies, ride around them slow, for the fiery and the snuffy are raring to go. Old Bill Jones had a daughter and a son. His son went to college and the daughter went wrong. His wife got killed in the free-for-all fight. Still he keeps a singing from morning till night. Ride around, little dogies, ride around them slow, for the fiery and snuffy are raring to go. When I die, take my saddle from the wall, put it onto my pony, lead him out of the stall. Tie my bones on his back, turn our faces to the west, and we'll ride the prairie that we love the best. Ride around, little dogies, ride around them slow, for the fiery and snuffy are raring to go. I've worked in the town, I've worked on the farm. All I gotta show is the muscle in my arm. Blisters on the feet, callus on my hand. I'm a-gone to Montana to throw the hula hand. Ride around, little dogies, ride around them slow, for the fiery and snuffy are raring to go. Ride around, little dogies, ride around them slow, for the fiery and snuffy are raring to go. Somehow, in that mysterious way great songs have of standing out, Get Along Little Dogies is undoubtedly the most famous cowboy song of them all. A dogie is usually a motherless calf in a herd. It also can be a poor or a weak adult animal in a herd of cattle. Get along, little dogies. As I was out walking one morning for pleasure, I spied a cowpuncher a-riding along. His hat was throwed back and his spurs was jingling. As he approached, he was singing this song. Whoopie-tie-yi-yo, get along, little dogies. It's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoopie-tie-yi-yo, get along, little dogies. You know that Wyoming will be your new home. Your mother was raised way down in Texas, where the Jimson weed and the sandburrs grow. We'll fill you up on prickly pear and challah, then throw you on the trail to Idaho. Whoopie-tie-yi-yo, get along, little dogies. It's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoopie-tie-yi-yo, get along, little dogies. You know that Wyoming will be your new home. Early in the spring we round up the dogies. We mark 'em and brand 'em and bob off their tails. Round up the horses load up the chuck wagon, then throw the dogies out on the long trail. Whoopie-tie-yi-yo, get along, little dogies. It's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoopie-tie-yi-yo, get along, little dogies. You know that Wyoming will be your new home. Oh, you'll make soup for Uncle Sam's Injuns. It's beef, heap beef, I hear 'em cry. Get along, get along, get along, little dogies. You'll be big steers by and by. Whoopie-tie-yi-yo, get along, little dogies. It's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoopie-tie-yi-yo, get along, little dogies. You know that Wyoming will be your new home. The rhythm of the Cowboys song, reflecting the rhythm of his work on horseback, was not always the same. It depended on the job. The tempo could be fast, medium, or slow. The song The Chisholm Trail, for example, in its most famous version, depicts the fast gallop of a cowboy chasing a steer which has broken away from the herd, according to John A. Lomax, who collected the first and finest group of cowboy songs ever way back in 1910. The Chisholm Trail supposedly ran from San Antonio, Texas to Dodge City, Kansas, and then up to Montana and the Dakotas. Come along, boys, and listen to my tale, and I'll tell you of my troubles on the old Chisholm Trail. Come a tie-yi, yippee, 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 come a tie-yi, yippee, yippee. I was born in Texas in the year '89. I can ride anything this side the state line. Come a tie-yi, yippee, 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 come a tie-yi, yippee, yippee. Went down to San Antonio, went to work in cattle, and here come the sheepmen, and we had a battle. Come a tie-yi, yippee, 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 come a tie-yi, yippee, yippee. There ain't no better territory in the United States, but she sure is hotter than hell's own gates. Come a tie-yi, yippee, 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 come a tie-yi, yippee, yippee. It's I and Bill Jones was good old cronies. We was always together on our sore-back ponies. Come a tie-yi, yippee, 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 come a tie-yi, yippee, yippee. Now we left Nelson Ranch on June 23rd with a drove of Texas cattle, 2,000 in the herd. We whooped them through Gonzales, night was drawing nigh. We bedded them down on a hill close by. Foot in the stirrup and my seat in the saddle, best little cowboy that ever rode a straddle. Come a tie-yi, yippee, 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 come a tie-yi, yippee, yippee. Slicker in the wagon and pouring down hail, going round the herd with the dogie by the tail. Come a tie-yi, yippee, 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 come a tie-yi, yippee, yippee. Now it's raining like hell and it's getting mighty cold, and the longhorn sons of guns are getting mighty hard to hold. Come a tie-yi, yippee, 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 come a tie-yi, yippee, yippee. Now saddle up, boys, and saddle up well, for I think these cattle have scattered to hell. Come a tie-yi, yippee, 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 come a tie-yi, yippee, yippee. Me and old Blue Dog arrived on the spot, put 'em to milling like the boiling of a pot. Come a tie-yi, yippee, 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 come a tie-yi, yippee, yippee. Now I'm on my best horse and I'm gone on a run. I'm the quickest shooting cowboy that ever pulled a gun. I flushed them left and I couldn't get them to stop. I can run as long as an 8-day clock. Come a tie-yi, yippee, 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 come a tie-yi, yippee, yippee. My seat in my saddle and I give a little shout. The lead cattle broke and the herd went about. Come a tie-yi, yippee, 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 come a tie-yi, yippee, yippee. Some of them we captured without half trying. They was so darn scared they didn't need hog tying. Come a tie-yi, yippee, 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 come a tie-yi, yippee, yippee. Come a tie-yi, yippee, 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 come a tie-yi, yippee, yippee. Come a tie-yi, yippee, 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 come a tie-yi, yippee, yippee. Come a tie-yi, yippee, 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 come a tie-yi, yippee, yippee. Come a tie-yi, yippee, 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 come a tie-yi, yippee, yippee. For many, many years in books and in movies, the cowboy was the good guy, the hero, and the Indian was the bad guy or the villain. This cliche persisted until rather recent times when more of the truth began to come out, that the white man was often more savage than the so-called savages. The song called the Sioux Indians, since it was written by an unknown white settler, gives his side of the story, but it has the ring of truth and sincerity about it nonetheless. I'll sing you a song, though it may be a sad one, of trials and troubles and where they began. I left my dear kindred, my friends and my home, across the wild deserts and mountains to roam. I crossed the Missouri and joined a large train, which bore us over mountains and valleys and plains. And when of evenings out hunting we would go, we'd shoot the fleet antelope and wild buffalo. We heard of Sioux Indians out on the plains, a-killing poor drivers and burning their trains, a-killing poor drivers with arrows and bow. When you're captured by Indians, no mercy they show. We traveled 3 weeks till we came to the Platte, and pitched our tents at the end of the flat. We spread down our blankets on the grassy ground, while our horses and mules were grazing around. While taking refreshments we heard a low yell, the whoop of Sioux Indians coming up on our trail. We sprang to our rifles with a flash in each eye. Boys, said our brave leader, we'll fight till we die. They made a bold dash and came near to our train, and the arrows fell around us like hail and like rain. But with our large rifles we fed them hot lead, till many a brave warrior around us lay dead. We shot their bold chief at the head of his band. He died like a warrior with a gun in his hand. When they saw their bold chief lying dead in his gore, they whooped and they yelled and we saw them no more. In our small band there were 24, and the Indians were many, 500 or more. We fought them with courage, we spoke not a word. The noise of the battle was all that we heard. We hitched up our horses and started our train. 3 more bloody battles while crossing the plains, and in our last battle 3 of our boys fell, and we left them to rest there in the green shady dell. If ever a folk singer looked like a folk singer, it was Burl Eichel Ivanhoe Ives, to give his full moniker. Big, bearded, burly, bellied, and, to add one more B, a beautiful, haunting, clear but manly tenor voice, along with very tasteful guitar accompaniments, rounded out a figure to be remembered with pleasure. It was Burl Ives who introduced big city audiences in the early 40s to a number of now famous folk songs, including the saddest Cowboys song ever written, the Cowboys' Lament, or The Streets of Laredo. As I walked out in the streets of Laredo, as I walked out in Laredo one day, I spied a poor cowboy all wrapped in white linen, all wrapped in white linen, as cold as the clay. I see by your outfit that you are a cowboy. These words he did say as I boldly walked by. Come sit down beside me and hear my sad story. I'm just a young cowboy and know I must die. 'Twas once in the saddle I used to go dashing. 'Twas once in the saddle I used to go gay. First down to Rosie's and then to the card house. I'm shot in the breast and I'm dying today. Get 16 gamblers to carry my coffin. Get 6 pretty maidens to sing me a song. Take me to the graveyard and lay the sod o'er me. I'm just a young cowboy and know I done wrong. Oh, beat the drum slowly and play the fife lowly. Play the dead march as you carry me along. Put bunches of roses all over my coffin, roses to deaden the clods as they fall. As I walked out in the streets of Laredo, as I walked out in Laredo one day, I spied a poor cowboy all wrapped in white linen, all wrapped in white linen, as cold as the clay. On June 25th, 1876, General George A. Custer and his entire force of 264 soldiers were massacred at the Battle of the Little Bighorn River in Montana by Sioux Indians under the famous chief Sitting Bull, in angry reaction to the white man's destruction in wholesale lots of the buffalo on which the Indian depended for food, clothing, bowstrings, and tents. In spite of overwhelming odds in manpower, firepower, and everything else, it took 20 years, up to the late 1880s, before the Indians finally gave up. Our next song, Custer's Last Charge, commemorates this historic event.
It was just before Custer's last fierce charge. 2 soldiers drew their reins with a clasp of hands and a parting word, for they might never meet again.
One had blue eyes and dark curly hair,
just 19 years, you know,
with a smile on his lips and down on his chin.
He was only a boy, you know.
Now the other was tall, dark, daring, and proud,
but his faith in this world was dim.
He only trusted in those he loved.
They were all the world to him.
They had ridden together for many a day
and marched for many a mile,
but never till now had they met the foe
with such a waning smile.
The tall, dark man was the first to speak,
saying, Charlie, my time has come.
We'll ride together into the fight,
but you'll ride out alone.
I have a picture upon my breast,
I will wear it in this fight.
A picture that is all this world to me,
and it shines like the morning light.
Like a morning light was her love to me,
to brighten my lonely life.
It is care that has caused her furrowed brow,
since she's been my loving wife.
Write to her, Charlie, when I am gone.
Send back this fair young face,
and tell her gently how I died,
and where's my red
tears in the eyes of the blue-eyed boy.
His voice was filled with pain.
I'll do my comrade's parting wish
If I ride home again.
But if I should die and you return,
Will you do as much for me?
I have a mother dear at home.
Write to her tenderly.
She's lost all one by one.
Husband and sons are gone.
I was the last of all her boys.
But she bravely sent me on.
Just then the order came to charge.
For an instant and touched hand.
Alas, goodbye, and on they rode.
That brave, devoted band.
They rode together to the brow of the hill.
But the fight they could not gain.
And the few of those that lived through the fray
Rose slowly back again.
But among the dead that were left behind
Was the boy with the curly hair.
and the tall dark man who rode by his side.
Lay dying beside him there.
Oh, none was left to tell the girl the words her lover had said. And the mother waiting at home for her boy will learn that he